All right, hello and welcome everybody. So today we're going to be doing a new painting. I've got this goal of doing a painting a day for 9 days straight, which includes one of this style of painting in the sense that it's totally abstract. Or, some might even consider this not abstract because there's things that you could see in it. There's ideas. You could see a circle here. So, you know, a circle is not necessarily an abstraction of something. It's a very obvious interpretation of something. But anyway, the idea is that I start these paintings with nothing in mind. I call it meaningfulness, and this is yesterday's piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this piece elsewhere. I'm gonna go move this, and we're gonna go put on our new canvas. So let's go ahead and find a nice place for this baby. All right, let's see. I might have to. I probably should have thought of this sooner, but here we go. I'm gonna have to go around my living room because the camera's in the way. So let me find a space around the living room here. And it looks like Omizu is in the house, in the room. I mean, I guess technically if I'm live streaming and you're here, you're in the house. Spiritually, physically, mentally, you are in this house. So, Omizu in the house. But let me clean up. I'm gonna do a little quick little. Actually, you know what? One thing at a time, Emmett. That is what ADD brain is like. Actually, I don't actually know if I have ADD. I've never been, speaking of ADD, I've never actually been gone to a doctor about ADD. I've never wanted to. I've always felt like, I consider ADD something of like a, if I had it. Again, I've never been diagnosed with it. It's not something that I would even really care to know if I actually had it or not, or whether, care to know whether I had it or not. And if I do have it, which sometimes I feel like I do, I feel like I would be able to, as an artist, it would be a gift, and how, some of the questions I ask myself is how can I use that as a gift, as far as creating art goes? How can I use a reduced attention span or constantly being easily distracted as a gift in my artwork? And that's some part of my philosophy is how do I use every single experience I've had or thought or whatever, every resource that I have as a gift for art. So there's a positive message there, right? Use what you got. Let your challenges be your gifts and thrive. I'm gonna have to get a new easel soon. This one's starting to kind of break down a little bit in some areas, but Mird Mirtnaf and Dino, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing fantastic. Gonna be starting this new painting in a second. Just want to clean up my area a little bit. Got some extra paint brushes and paint tubes and gloves here, kind of just poking around. So it'll be a nice time to just clean it up real quick before I start this next painting. So we'll be starting here very, very soon. I just gotta grab this chunk. So I have this little station right here. It's just I just keep all my gloves in. I don't throw it away every day, which I should. But Dino, Mir, Ace Rupak, what's going on? Hope you're all doing fantastic. And what I'm learning from this recent painting challenge of trying to do these 9 big canvases a day is just how quickly your your canvases go. But let me ask a question here. Have you ever dealt with oh no, this that is a what do you think about creative burnout? Done. Let's put this somewhere that it can be seen. Otherwise, up. There we go. Kim Jong Picasso. Okay, that's almost clever. Almost clever. Maybe like, I think Kim Jong Klimt would sound better. Kim Jong Klimt, because of the L-I-I-L. But Brooksy, what's going on? Very funny though. We got some funny people in the room today. Rezi is a funny guy with a sense of humor. I'm sure Rezi likes to make jokes in class a lot, which is fantastic. We all love a class clown, except for the teacher. Teachers usually don't like class clowns. Unless the teacher was a class clown too, and the kid's like really brilliantly funny. But like if the kid's just like not funny and disruptive, have you ever thought that maybe like kids who are not funny in class but always interrupt are just angry or like, you know, disruptive because they wish they were funny but they're not actually funny? That's like a sad view of disruptive kids in class that are just, you know, they just want to be funny but they can't be because they're not. Anyway, let's go ahead. I'm gonna lay down some paint here. Yeah, this is one painting challenge that I'm doing for myself that feels like, whoa. It feels as if it's quite a challenge, but I just find it so interesting that all of that paint goes so quickly. But let's pick a few brushes here. Let's grab this brush, and I'll show them to you in a moment what brush we're going to use. I try to use like a limited number of brushes for each of these projects. Try not to get too in depth with brushes. You know, I try to keep it limited to a few of them. Few select brushes here. I want to use this jaggedy flat brush. So look how like stiff this brush is right here. This brush is really stiff. I'm putting some pressure on it and it's not going. So I feel like if I just throw some oil on this and I use this, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to use a really stiff brush. So I'm gonna try this one out. Let's add some oil to it. Sometimes just putting oil on your brush is enough to like give it some bounce again, but not always. Not always. Sometimes the brush is just done for. It's just done for, and that's what I think this brush is. It's just done for, but done for in most typical cases. But you know, I think there's always a beautiful way that you can use an old brush that no longer fulfills its exact purpose. I believe that, even though, you know, it's hard to find those uses, but so I've got these two stiff brushes here. I'm using two stiff brushes, and then we're gonna use one. This brush is pretty good, a big brush. It's a nice big brush. And let's see, gotta use a palette knife. And as for our smaller brush, let's go with, what are we going to use for a smaller brush? Go, all right, I'm gonna oh wow, so I have a busy week next week, which I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do 5 paintings. So I might have to like focus this weekend on doing like 2 paintings a day actually. We'll see. I have to get these paintings done. If I don't have another one of these canvases. I'm running out of these big canvases, so I ordered some more and they won't come till tomorrow. So otherwise I would challenge myself to do 2 paintings today. But looks like I'm not gonna have that opportunity. So we are just gonna have to make do. But here's the six brushes that I'll be using. These are not all ideal brushes. These are not brushes that you would use for a super fine painting. Got a this is a Rosemary Co. It's like a short flat brush. So as you can tell, it's a bit shorter and it's very flat. So I might be able to carve out some edges with this. It's not very rough, so I won't capture a rough look with it. This is a stiffened fan brush. So I'm not going to be using this as a traditional fan to like blend colors. I'm just going to be using this in a very rough way. This brush is also flat and very stiff, as you could tell. I'm pushing on it and it's not stiff. It's very dense. This one has a little bit more flexibility. I think I'll be using this brush the most. And I'm going to get some rough textures with this piece, this baby right here. This is a hog hair brush. So hog hair brush you get pretty rough with and it'll last a very long time, but you know, it doesn't work for like super delicate painting styles. And here we go, palette knife. So I've got my brushes of choice. I try not to use more brushes than the ones selected. This is plenty of brushes though for this. So my goal with some of these paintings is to come up with a bunch of different looks and designs on a single painting and colors and all that. So there we go. But one of the subjects I thought I'd chat about today that we could talk about that, you know, if you want to chime in, go ahead and chime in. But a subject that's important to me is creative burnout. And I will say, you know, there's this great quote by David Goggins, and it actually pertains to running and physical fitness, not so much creativity, but I think it's relevant. I think it, although it's for running, for physical activity, I think what's important is the ideas can carry over. If you can, you know, train for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, running, physical fitness, exercise, and you know it's possible to do that without burning out, then I think it's possible for artists to make art for 2, 3, 4 hours a day. Now, obviously, given, you know, balancing around work schedules, you know, I don't know everyone's situation, but yeah, I feel all of that is very possible, even with a busy work schedule. Which, you know, getting through some part-time stuff is very, very important. But you know, if you can build a brand or build a career around your art, even better. But I need some more oil, so I use this oil jar for cleaning. Creative burnout, like just burnout in general, right? So creative burnout, as in, you know, you're working, you're being creative, and then suddenly you just like don't feel it anymore. Like you just don't feel that spark. You don't feel that excitement. But it's not always just because you're not creative. It could be just because you felt burnt out. You felt like exhausted. Like you tried so hard for so long, and you know maybe nothing happened, and then burned out. But here's my jar. I use this. It's a coil. I use this both for cleaning my brush and for you know, just whatever. But you could tell some of the paint has gotten in here. It's very like painty. But it's time to fill this again with some more fresh oil. I use walnut oil. Yeah, creative burnout. That's definitely something. Sure, you burnt out. Maybe bored of the subject. Yeah, there we go. So, you know, at least, but here's the thing, Omizu, you got a solution there, right? You were able to determine that you got bored with the subject and then you moved on. But I think that, and that's a very helpful thing that you're sharing there, because, you know, I think what some people might consider burnout is simply just being bored with something, right? It's simply the idea that you've gotten bored with something and you're ready to move on to a different subject. And, you know, some people might not be familiar with that experience, maybe younger people. And by younger, I'm sure you're very young and I'm, you know, young as well, but younger people who are, I don't know, like 20, just finishing school, even high school. I read a lot of Reddit, and on Reddit, there's a lot of younger people asking for advice, like, hey, you know, I don't feel like I like drawing anymore. I don't know if I like painting, or, you know, should I go to art school or whatever? And it turns out they're, you know, really talented young people, but they're just not feeling it anymore. And I think that's the main premise here. Is just starting off is recognizing what the real issue is. Sometimes it's not that you're burnt out. Sometimes it's not that you're burnt out. You just got to recognize that maybe you're bored of a subject, or maybe, you know, so I've written books. I had a phase when I was just doing lots and lots of writing. I wrote books, screenplays, producing content, things like that. And I think that has all helped me build to the certain point that I'm at right now, where I'm also painting and making content. So, you know, that's another element. Initially, just to point out this idea of just recognizing what you feel the problem is, and not just labeling everything as burnout. I remember when during COVID, I was doing a lot of work from home stuff, and I was feeling burnt out during COVID. Like, I was doing all this work, and I was like not feeling myself. I was getting bored of the work I was doing, which was you know, some online stuff, and I wasn't feeling happy about it. And after a while, I saw this video on Facebook. A friend posted a video of them working out in a gym, and the gym was closed down for the longest time during COVID, and I hadn't been to a gym in like 2 or 3 months, and I was like, that's it. That's what's making me feel down, is I haven't been exercising. I haven't been, you know, and I've had a gym membership my whole life. From the moment I was from 13 years old or 14 years old, I've had access to a gym. Not necessarily a gym membership, like, you know, at wherever your gym membership is. I'm not going to promote any gym right now. But just having access to a gym. And as soon as I got my body moving, as soon as I got my body finally moving and exercising again in a gym, rather than, just doing walks or runs or like push-ups or whatever, I felt motivated again. My body transformed. So I think that's the second biggest is, burnout, identifying what it was, but also letting your body react and react in different ways. But maybe they haven't found what they're passionate. Yeah, that too. So identifying the problem for sure. So I got my blue, yellow, quinacridone rose red. What kind of red is this? Quinacridone rose. There we go. Quinacridone rose. I want one more color to lay down before I get started here. I already got a blue. But yes, a lot of things. So I'm gonna add a permanent green DNK. I don't know what that means. It's funny names. Permanent, green DP. I don't actually know what that means, but deep, green deep, permanent green deep. That's what it means. Easy enough, right? So let's see. We're gonna lay down a lot of this color because we know we're gonna use a lot. So, there's no escaping having to use up your paint when you're painting. But Ace says that they're very young, so awesome. You've got a lot of time to paint. One thing that I love, that I like to do, and this is going to sound kind of weird, but one thing that I like to do is think about how many years I estimate that I'll live. I got a stuffy nose today because I've had a little cold these past couple days. But I estimate how many years I have left to live, and then I estimate how many paintings I can still possibly create in that many years. So you can make up a number for yourself. Don't take your own estimate. And either that's going to motivate you or it's going to make you think, oh, I've got plenty of time, right? I've got plenty of time. But hey, let's say for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe you're like 95 years old and you think you got only 10 years left to live. And you love the idea of being an artist and you're like, you make one painting a day, you can make 3,650 paintings. There you go. Or if you only make one painting a week, then you're going to make 520 paintings or whatever. So that's interesting. In an unusual way, that is a motivating factor for me, is not counting down the days, or I guess you could call it counting down the days. I don't know. It's all sorts of things, but this is what I'm feeling right now. If you're younger, there's other things, there's better ways to motivate yourself. And I don't consider myself like older in the sense that would actually motivate me, but I feel like at some level, we got to identify the problem and then, decide what are the things that can motivate yourself. Like, is it time? Is it time pressure? So Vincent van Gogh, realized that he started painting really late in life. He was an art child. Like his whole family was an art family, which I think, most people, when they try to get into art and they think, oh, Vincent van Gogh started really late in life. So, anybody can start late in life. And yes, although he started late in life, he was already in an art family. And I think it is important to recognize that being in an art family was very helpful to him because he started at a very young age actually drawing things. And he had a propensity or he had a knack for drawing. And, back then in the 1800s, you had nothing better to do. So he did spend a lot of time drawing. And I think that's something important where he did start young, even though most people don't credit it because he had a off period when he was actually working in an art gallery and he tried to become an evangelical preacher or something. And it's through that he didn't really pick it up until I think he was like 28. Let's see, 18. 78, 77. So like he was 30, I don't know, like 27 or something. So knowing all that, supposedly he realized this really quickly, that he was at a disadvantage because he was starting out in art so late, and he started pumping out work, just pumping it out faster than anybody else, because he knew he had this huge disadvantage, this huge challenge that he was going to have to overcome. And Kitty, you should not be up here. Not be up here. You cannot have this habit, so I'm going to put you down somewhere. You know, maybe that's a motivating factor. If you know that a college student or someone who goes to college makes like 5 paintings a week for 4 years, and 52 weeks, they're probably not painting every single day. You break it down. And by the way, I'm just sharing some motivational math here, math that can help you if you're starting later as an artist. Some motivational math, like you think, let's just say a really ambitious college student does 1 painting a day for 5 days a week for their assignments for classes. I think that's probably actually a lot. They're probably making maybe 2 or 3. And you do some math. So let's just be overestimate and say that someone in a art school, and for those of you considering art school or not considering or wondering or insecure about the fact that you didn't go to art school or whatever, let's do the math, right? They're going to art school. They're doing 5 paintings a week. Maybe they're in school, 60, I'm not good at math here, 40 weeks out of 52. So 40 times 5 is 200. So 200 over the course of 4 years. So 800 works. So if you can make more than 800 works in the next 5 years, you will have completed a college level portfolio. Maybe that's that, and that sounds like a lot. That's probably overestimating the amount of art that college. And I'm not bashing college or anything. Totally, if you can, I believe that if you can afford, if it works in your budget, if you find the college of your dreams, if you have the budget and everything to go to a certain college, and it makes sense for you, then definitely do it, right? But at the same time, I realize that everybody's got unique challenges, and it's not, it might not be feasible for everybody. But the ones that really want it, the ones that are super about it, you will, they will find a way. And you know what, maybe you get older, maybe if you're starting older. I read this great book, it's called Old in Art School. It's about this woman named Neil Painter, I think her last name is actually Painter, but Neil something. And she started art school at the age of like 60 something. Now, given that she went to a really great art school and she was already, highly educated, I think she already had like a PhD or something, and was already well known as a writer, an author. So she already had an advantage from a creative perspective, but she just wanted to go to art school, not painting school, art school. She wanted to go to an art school, and she talks about it in her book, about that experience. So really great book if you're an older artist. But here's what I thought was the best part about that book, is she really detailed some of the things that she felt art school helped her do, and some of the things that she felt were kind of BS. But she did outline some of the things that you, like some of the curriculum you might have, and you could design a curriculum around that. But as far as like art burnout goes, it's like you got to find the ways to keep yourself motivated. But you first got to identify what it is that you're struggling with. And sometimes it has nothing to do with art or your creativity at all. Sometimes it's just like a block that you had. Like, maybe somebody made fun of your painting. And just psychologically, mentally, you haven't fully recovered from it. And just because of that one insult, that one well-placed insult or diss that you feel you have not overcome it. I don't know. It could be anything, and it might not even be burnout, but you identify it as burnout. So here we go. We're just playing with the paint right now, and we're going through this, and we'll find. Actually, I want a darker blue. Let's see. I'm gonna do a darker blue for this, but yeah, great book. Whether you're a young artist or an older artist, I think even if you're a young artist in college, I think the book Old in Art School is pretty interesting, because it's one of those books where, you know, if you can go into art school with the perspective of a person who's older, who's an artist, I think you can get some insight into, like, you know, a mature way to think that can really positively influence your art. And that's where I think her book is really good. Really great book, really great read. And it would definitely be pretty interesting to have like more artists share their stories like that. But it's really hard to write a book while you're also going to an art school, I imagine. So we're starting right here, and we're just gonna go wah 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 wah. Just lay that down. Always gotta have this piece right here. Have a nice. No, we're gonna take our green here, and we're gonna find like our green blue. Find a green blue here. And here we go. But you know, something that also motivates me, and this is going to sound like an unusual thing that keeps me motivated. And you know, when you're motivated, you don't get burnt out, right? Like, if you know that tomorrow, by doing this one activity, you're gonna make $1 billion. I'm just making that number up. You could say $1 million. You can say $5, $100, 500, 5,000. I don't know. I'm making something up, right? Just bear with me here. $1 trillion, $1 quadrillion. I don't know. If you knew that something that you did was going to make you that much money tomorrow, you would do it. If you knew that by learning a new language, you would meet the man or woman of your dreams because you could speak their language, or maybe they speak your language, but just the fact that you're able to also speak their language, it allows you better communication. I mean, you would probably, that might be a little challenge, but you at least make an effort to learn a couple words. So in this talk of motivation here, this concept of motivation, we all know what it is. We all know what it feels like. We all know what it's like to have it in our bodies. But I think what most of us might not know is what exactly motivates us. And sometimes it's not just money, right? I gave the example of $1 quadrillion because it's ridiculous. And you also might be thinking, I don't want $1 quadrillion, right? I don't need $1 trillion, right? So we all want different things. And sometimes identifying that can help you stay motivated. So for me, I use my experience when I was training for the LA Marathon. So I ran the LA Marathon. I finished it. I didn't, run the whole thing. But a marathon is 26.2 miles. Everybody who knows what marathons are knows that. When I was training for that, one thing that I found was that to keep myself going, right? How do you keep yourself going running 4 or 5 miles a day? How do you have like 15-mile days, 10 miles days? And I wasn't an elite athlete. I did not grow up running. I don't enjoy running even till today, but I had to force myself to do this. And how do you really keep yourself going for something like that? You got to apply some of these other principles, and you just got to recognize like what it is that you really want from it. You have to understand the feeling that you're trying to achieve, and then, you know, find what motivates you. So for me, I had to seek outside motivation. So, you know, whether that be joining a run club. I didn't join a run club, but I did sign up for a bunch of other races, smaller races. And sometimes, you know, that's what you have to do to stay motivated. You have to come up with your own motivations. But here's the interesting thing about motivation is it's not always a pleasure motivation, right? Sometimes we don't always have to just focus on the motivation that is the pleasure motivation, as in, hey, we do this thing, we get a reward, and that is a pleasurable motivation. But there's also this anti I don't know if anti is the right word as I'm painting right now. It's also this moving away from motivation. Let's call it that. Moving away from motivation, as in you're motivated to do something not out of desire to accomplish it, but you're motivated to do something because you're scared of what the alternative is. And you know, how do you stay motivated using that? Well, there's a lot of ways. I heard this story about this one lady who was trying to lose weight. And what happened, the way that she wanted to lose weight was like, she was like trying to motivate herself. She's like, okay, at the end of the week, if I don't eat junk food or if I don't eat fast food, then I can eat some fast food this weekend, right? Or I can treat myself to something good and tasty. And none of it was working. She tried to come up with all these motivations, and until she found a recipe to trick her brain, which was if she ate junk food at some time during the week, she would have to eat dog food, like human safe dog food. And that was so disgusting to her that you know, she was able to get herself to lose weight. So maybe sometimes you have to instill your own, not fear, I'm not using the word fear, but like create your own negative motivation. Like, and sometimes it might be discovering what makes you, it doesn't have to be like a fear, like what keeps you, what bad could happen if you don't do something. Like, you know, if you're painting or if you're doing training for a marathon or whatever, like what could happen if you don't do this marathon? What happens if you don't go pursue this artistic endeavor that you want to do? And that's also helped me personally. Like, what would happen if I don't sign up for this marathon right now? Which is what I was thinking just a couple years ago before I did my first one. I've only done 2. I don't plan on doing a 3rd, but I at least did my goal of finishing 1 or finishing 2. And you know, that question was constantly on my mind. Like, what if I don't sign up right now? What's going to happen? And you know, the bad thing that's going to happen is that I'm not going to sign up for it later. Realistically, I'm probably going to continue putting it off until finally, if I ever feel ready, I'm going to be ready. And I think this can totally carry into the art world. And I'm using these examples that are not tied to painting because, you know, I think it's powerful to have these other examples to highlight how it can be applied anywhere, in any situation, not just art, right? These are principles that are coming from different areas of experience that I'm actually taking these ideas from some of my mentors, other sources. You can definitely look it up. The 2 types of motivations, 2 types of motivation: fear motivating based on reward or motivating based on fear. And both of them work. Fear-based motivation is real. Fear-based motivation works. Now, obviously, if you're afraid of something happening, such as, you know, you're living in the 1200s and the Pharaoh of Egypt, I don't even know if Egyptian pharaohs were alive in the 1200s, but you're scared of the Egyptian pharaoh imprisoning you in their tomb forever. If you're scared of that, you know, you'll do a lot of things to avoid that. And that is a fear, right? Fear of what happens in the afterlife will make people do certain things in real life. So, you know, knowing what your fears are, or knowing what you can move away from, knowing what you want to avoid in the future. Like, oh, what could have been, right? That's a common concept, common thing. It's a common motivator. And yeah, so all this ties into the concept of you know, avoiding the burnout, the fatigue feeling, and knowing what motivates you, what keeps you going. I mean, that's how I've reached this point as a, you know, making these videos, is just working through a lot of these questions myself. And, you know, on one hand, it appears that I am an artist, that I'm painting, but on the other hand, at a much more nuanced level, I also make content, and that's something I've been doing forever, but I've had to make a lot of pivots. I've had a lot of changes in my content. I've tried a lot of different kinds. I've practiced a lot of different skills that I've had to apply to my live streams. So there you go. And when I share this thing about creative burnout, it might not be about painting. It might not be about one specific oh, I don't know if I like that, but one specific technique or something. But it could be anything. This is the stuff that I'm sharing, I feel, are relative to pretty much anything, or any area of your life that you might feel stuck or tired about or whatever. But here we go. Let's keep this painting going. I really like this section right here. Got a couple interesting shapes right now. I feel like it's not as messy as I would like, which means that I need to get a little bit messier. I'm gonna get a bit messier here. I'm gonna grab a white, create like a sky blue here. Grab this for like a sky blue. I'm just gonna make this drip. We're gonna give it a drip into this area right here. Have we flipped this yet? I don't think we flipped it yet, so I'm gonna flip it in a little bit. What are you doing, bud? Breaking out again? Do you not want to be here, Scout? We'll do our best for you, you know that? Alright, so here we go. We are bringing this in. Bring this in right here. And let's create the outline over here as well. Give it like a smoky design on this baby. Yeah, there we go. I got an art show tonight. Hey everybody, how exciting is that? I have an art show. There's a low chance that any of you are in Los Angeles, because I know a lot of my viewers are from elsewhere. But if you are in the Los Angeles area, I have an art show tonight. at a place called Studio NoHo. It's in North Hollywood. So if you're in the area, be sure to stop by. But totally get it. Maybe I'll try to do a live stream from there. I don't know what the crowd's gonna be. It's gonna be a group show with a. It's gonna be a group show, which means there's gonna be a lot of different people there. A lot of different artists. And let's see, something. Let me look for my visual, my made-up visual view here. I can see a line there. I'm trying to let my eyes imagine things on a canvas. The interaction of the light with the interaction of the lights with this very bright white surface creates like a visual artifact that I can see on the canvas. I'm imagining things on the canvas here. I'm seeing things, but you know what? Don't call a doctor, because I can totally explain it. I'm imagining things. So here we go. We've got some good colors on here right now. Can't remember if I flipped it. Did I flip it? Oh yeah, I did flip it. I flipped that side. You know what? I'm gonna take this color and I'm gonna go down the sides with this. I want to make sure that I paint in some of the sides right now, just so we have that. I've definitely had this dilemma of whether I like painting the sides or not. Because on one hand, once you like frame a really nice painting like this, you know, it's like a secondary issue. You don't really need you don't really need the border painted. But definitely it's noticeable, like, if you're in an art show, and I think a lot of artists tend to paint the borders, paint around their borders. It just helps to create a cohesive effect. Hey buddy, hey, what are you doing? Come here. I'm not getting out. You ain't getting out this time. So let's keep this color going. And we're gonna take some of this green here. Let's go. Where do I see our greens here? Ah, okay. See where I can put my greens. See some green right there. See some green. It was telling me to put it right here. And these are some thick layers of green, so eventually I'm going to spread the green a bit. But right now I just want to lay down a couple areas, a couple green areas here. And after I finish this series of abstract paintings, I'm probably going to take a break from abstract and go back to regular, not regular, I don't want to call it regular, because abstract work should pretty much be considered regular work. It's not different. But I want to do some more figurative stuff. So what am I doing? I'm just laying down some paint areas. And how did I come across these areas? Just by staring at this canvas and at some point, you know, I start to see like different colors appearing on the canvas. Not like I'm actually imagining swirling colors, but you know, the reflection of the light on the surface, you start to just like kind of things start to pop out. And I'm just taking those experiences and laying down paint where I see, you know, I'm not seeing like a vivid green here. I'm seeing just like these splashes of light, and I'm deciding that, hey, this is green. So that's how I'm making this painting. It's you know, an exploration of mind, an exploration of the eye's ability to make things up, this eye's ability to see things. You know, you call it whatever you like, but that is how we're coming to some of these concepts on this painting right now. It's funny, when the cats get on the table now, they try to avoid getting up near me because they know that I'm gonna pick them up, put them down. Scout, I'm gonna put you off the table now. There you go, Scout. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Best little kitty. So here we go. We're gonna take some of this white. We're gonna leave some remnants of white. And here we go. So this can definitely not be perfect, this thing right here, so we're gonna make it imperfect. It is perfectly imperfect. There we go. And make sure that we get some paint off on this side here. Ooh, get all the paint off. This paint goes on a canvas and not in the garbage can. That is my philosophy for this work, is paint goes onto the canvas, but not the garbage can. So if you feel like you need to put paint into the garbage can, you're doing it wrong. Go anywhere on your canvas. And here we go. We always need, my paintings always need something really big and red. So we're actually gonna go right up against this. Let's see. We're gonna go across. So we've made this like really bright red yellow. Let's grab some more of this. We're gonna go make this line all the way across here. This brush does a really great job of just letting the brush flow. So this is made with our rose red and our yellow. You know what? I'm just going to lay this down right on top of our piece right here. Let's just put it right on top. Why not? Boom, right there. That doesn't really look like smooth, but you know what? We're going to go with it. Why not? We're going to go with this. All right, that works. That is dandy. So let's go bring this color in and around. We're going to go add some texture and design here. Nothing should ever just be simple. Things are never simple, right? This is a painting of life. It means life. Nothing is ever simple. Nothing is ever just as it seems. Nothing is ever just a flat color. There's always something else. Always something underneath the surface. This represents the depths of the spirit. which is always deeper than this, what we see on the surface or experience. All right, so anyway, gonna brush these colors out so that it's nice and full. Pick up some more of this red, grab some more of this yellow, so that's a nice color here. I'm gonna go down. There we go. Go down right here. Let's muddy this color up a little bit for these. Now I need to decide what we're going to do in the middle of all that. What should we do? I don't know. Let's clean this brush off on our palette. So I got this other project here that I'm working outside. You can't see it. And I'm 2 paintings at once. This is how you can work on 2 paintings at once. I have this other palette that I'm using for all the extra paint that are coming off on my brush that I'm not using. So I'm just wiping it off on here. And honestly, I don't know why I have to say honestly. I don't really need to say honestly. I think it's turning out pretty neat. What do y'all think? It's a very interesting piece. It's probably even more interesting than these big, huge abstracts I'm doing. It's a very interesting piece for sure. So I got the paint off. Make sure all the paint is off. Boom, boom, boom. And now I want to clean this brush because I want to use it. Actually, you know what? I might just keep it for this color. And let's see how we can manage to put our yellow. Let's see, it's a red. Opposite of red is green. Somehow mix our yellow green into here. Yeah, let's do a yellow green. Yellow green into here. More yellow than green. Like a very warm green here. Using a rough brush to mix this colors here. Let's go into here. Problem with this brush is it's not a spreader brush. It's not a brush that's going to help us spread the paint very well. It's just going to scratch it onto the surface. So I guess that's a good thing though. It kind of gives it a nice texture, scratchy texture that it gives it a different effect. I like it. I like how it's going. So I'm going to keep at it. If you like it, keep doing it. If you don't like it, stop doing it. The key's to life. If you like something, do more of it. If you don't like something, do less of it. Except if it's hurting you. So, you know what? If there's something that's hurting you and you like it, stop doing it. You know what? This scratchy brush is actually really good because it allows me to color into these surfaces without spreading the paint. And what I mean by that is usually what happens is if you're using a brush, like a regular brush, like a smooth bristle, it's going to take whatever paint is around it and it's going to like blend it into your current paint. But with this one, it kind of just like scrapes it, which is good. But of course, you're going to have this texture here that you might not want. This looks like a really interesting type of grass. It's not bad. I like it. I think it's good. All right. Right now it is a good time for a switch up. So I could actually scrape some of this down, create some texture here, scrape it across, create some texture across, scrape it down right here. Where you get like a little checkerboard thing going. There we go. A little design. It's like grass. And here we go. So we're going to do a nice little flip here. Flip it onto its side. And I do that just to keep this piece visually interesting, you know, like who wants a painting that they could just look at from one angle? That's dumb. That's silly. Just kidding. Boring, yes, but dumb and silly, no. Totally kidding there too. I know artists can be very touchy about when they do things a certain way and they hear somebody say that's the wrong way to do it. If you ever want to have a viral video, by the way, if you want to know the secret to making a viral video right now, I can guarantee you this will get you at least, even if it's your first video on YouTube about art, and maybe you're not even an artist, just pick something that a lot of artists do and share an opinion about it that makes it sound bad. So like, you know, say like a lot of artists like to use the color blue. You should say, blue is the worst color to use in a painting, and here's why. And that should be your video title. And then, you know, you could totally make something up in there, but that'll make a video go viral amongst artists. They'll be like, that's ridiculous. Blue's a great color. How can you not use blue? This is stupid. Now, obviously, if it ends up being like clickbaity, it might not go as viral. But if you were to do something more serious, like 5 artists that do 5 of the worst portraits ever painted, and you would like put, I don't know, you would put some amazing, incredible artists like Picasso or Van Gogh or Rembrandt or Michelangelo or whatever great artist there was, and you put their paintings and you use their paintings as part of your content, you'll probably go viral. Somebody will want to argue why those paintings are the greatest. But yeah, if you ever want something to go viral, just make up something that disagrees with a huge portion of the population, and you will have a viral video, people. It's that easy. It is really that easy. Sadly. Now, you know what? Actually, I will take that back because I think YouTube has started to crack down on that. And if you actually spread I guess you can't really spread false news if it's an opinion, but I think YouTube has really cracked down on some of those. But you know what? There's still a lot of channels that do that. So maybe it's not as scary. Maybe it's still more common than you might think. But sad that that's the way to come up with the viral videos, just to disagree with people. Too bad it can't be something like, hey, you're just a interesting person, or hey, people just want to talk to you, or you've got good ideas. People would rather spend time looking at something or arguing about something that shocks them, that gets their energy riled up, rather than something that might be good. I don't know. But here we go. Where am I feeling empty in this painting? I feel like this space is feeling a bit empty. So what should we do about that? We should add some paint there. The magic. We should do the magic. So what color should I use for that? I'm going to grab this yellow here. I really love adding big sections of yellow. And you know what color I don't have that I should have? Take a guess, everybody. Got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Black. Black is the color that I feel need to be on this. I feel like black is a color that really, it's a really challenging color to work with because, you know, once you have black on your paintbrush, it can be really, really, really hard to get off. And, you know, it'll create it'll create remnants into the colors around it, especially if you're using oil painting and it's not dry. But the color is incredibly bold, is incredibly powerful in helping a section stand out because it is the darkest value of colors, and either your eyes tend to be pulled to the lightest values like white. But, you know, if you have some very bright colors and you have a couple of black outlines, those black outlines are going to have a huge impact on the visual, visual guidance of your painting. I like using the color black. I had an entire series of smaller paintings called From Black, which is, I start with the color black and I just lay it down on the canvas and I go from there. That was a really fun series that I haven't even fully, really ended, but I haven't continued with either. I haven't continued with those paintings either. So you know what? Let's take this nice big chunk of black right here. It's a nice chunk. That's a lot of paint, by the way. That could fill an entire. This, if I was to thin this out by adding mineral spirits to it, I think this amount of black could fill this entire canvas, or maybe half of it. But we're just going to use it. And where do we want to put this? Where do I see the? Where do I see this? Right here would be, something is calling this color to be put down right here. There we go. Black. There we have it. So let's go put this right into the corner here. And this corner's down. Yes. And that is wonderful. That is beautiful. And let's keep going with this baby. Uh-huh. You know what I need? Ooh, that's when this brush comes in really handy. So instead of picking up the black, hopefully it'll just scrape it away. Let's try it out. Alright, so you know what? It is definitely picking up the black. It's not working the way I expected, but that's okay. You know what? I don't want to lose this really crisp black color. Oh, how do I do this? Because it's got this really crisp sheen, whereas the way I'm scraping it right now is creating this like textured effect. But I don't want to lose that, so I got to find a way to keep it. Maybe I just go in with the. Let me try this. Go in with the yellows and just gently, ever so gently, bring it into here. You know what I have to do later is I probably just have to lay down lay down a really thick globs of color on top of this later on, but not right now. Like if I was to take this glob of yellow right now, just lay it across. Wah. 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 Let's find another section for this. These colors are very Jamaican right now. The green and the black and the yellow. It's not my intention, but hey, it's all good. All right. Here we go. Push it more to the end, and then bring some of this into here. Add some red into this. Actually, red will just gray it out because it's a green. So let me bring our blue into this. Light blue. We're just gonna go like this. Yeah, you know what? Whatever technique this was, obviously I just scraped the blue, used the palette knife to put the black on. I really would like to have that style of that really finished flat layer of color texture at some point, but I don't think I'm gonna do it on this one. I haven't figured out the technique. It's really hard. I think what I have to do is actually have to wait for the colors to dry, or I have to do the entire painting with just the palette knife in order to keep those effects that you get, like these little speckles of color that just appear because of the interaction of the palette knife with the canvas. I really like it, but it's going to be really hard to maintain. But I would love to figure out how I can, keep it while also keeping the colors underneath. But it's probably just going to be from working with layers, or acrylic. Maybe you can't do it with oil. I don't know. I'd like to think you can, but it just might not be possible. This color is getting too dark here, so let's go ahead and bring some white into this. We're going to whiten this up. Let's see what happens with this white here. Oh. What happens here stays here. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with that section there. Let's see. What can we do with this? There's probably a lot that we can do. But you know what? First, I think this paint needs to be spread out a bit more. So let's do a better job of just spreading this paint out around here. We're going to cover this area. One thing I usually don't do with these paintings is just spread out a lot of paint before painting on top of it, which I think could actually be quite helpful if I did it more often on these paintings. But I feel like if I pre-plan and spread out too much paint initially, it kind of ruins the spontaneity of it. But right now we're being spontaneous, so I guess it's intention, right? If it's too much pre-planning, then it is no good. But if it is happens along the way in a process, intentionally or unintentionally or whatever, I think it is good. At least for this style, at least for this these abstract concepts that I'm working with right now. So let's go into here, drag this down, drag these colors down here. Let's scrape off some of this. Let's take some of this paint and spread it. We're going to spread it over here and take some more of this paint. Just use our So palette knife. Ah, there we go. That's kind of cool. The palette knife is doing an interesting job of allowing us to create some dimension here. Create a sense of, a new sense, a new feeling of that section. Aha. You know what I want to do right now? I want to add in a lot of our yellow right now. Adding yellow to the bottom left here. We're going to blend these two together, just create this like fiery look right here. When I say fiery, it's not the color of fire, but just like, when I say fiery, I mean the texture, the way that it's going to appear is like, when it molds together, it just has this like, creates this illusion of like this flame-like characteristic. It's done in a certain way. And here we go. Let's go like this. I like how this yellow is coming together. Or this yellow green, this highlighter yellow, whatever color you want to call it. You know what? Let's take our palette knife. Let's scrape down that again. Let's scrape that. Oh yeah, I like this effect that's happening. I really like it. I really do. Yeah, look at that. Very nice. It smooths the surface. And it gives us more to work with. Let's go bring that right here. I like that color right there. Really does a good job of smoothing the surface, and instead of having the ridges, which the ridges are fine, but I really like this effect that we've got going on right now, so I'm gonna stick with it. And it has this like dirtied look from our black, and I'm gonna keep that. But what else am I gonna do? Let's go on top of it with some red marks here. Let's go with some blue. You know what? Let's see what happens if we scrape this down. See what happens if we scrape this down too. Oh yeah, look at that. That's kind of neat. I like that texture. There we go. All right. I like this. It doesn't have the same like meaning that you might get if you just looked at this and you were like, hey, what do those, the tally marks mean? It wouldn't have like the same significance, but I do like the effect that has come of it. And we could probably paint something on top of that once we're done. Let's go like this. Let's actually do this more. I'm having fun. Is anybody else having fun watching this? I don't know. Probably not. You never have as much fun as that person that's actually doing the work, unless you're doing it with them. So if you're watching this, I highly recommend that you pull out a sheet of paper, grab a crayon or a marker or ketchup and mayonnaise and mustard, and then I don't know what is a blue color that you might have in your house, frosting, and just make something. I highly recommend it. It's like, I've definitely watched gamers play a video game before, but I can't say it's ever as fun as playing the game myself, unless I'm like learning a very specific way of doing things. But yeah, this is exciting. We are creating something very fun, people. I am having fun, and I hope you all are having fun as well. As I mentioned, you're probably not having as much fun as me, but that's okay. You can. Grab a crayon, grab a pencil, grab a pen and just start drawing and playing and doing whatever, you can have more fun than me. You can have as much fun as you like. As much creative energy as you like. One of my favorite artists on Instagram to watch, he does a lot of live streams, but he's a British guy named Paul Kenton. He does this amazing work where he literally like creates these beautiful cityscapes, but all he does is like the entire beginning of his process is him just flinging paint on the canvas. It's brilliant. And then gradually over time, he just starts to carve it all he just starts to carve it, all of it. And through the carving, he finds a way to make it look like a beautiful, amazing cityscape. So let's see, what should I do? There's something that needs to happen. I think we're at a good point to do a flip right now. So what would be a good way to flip? Let's flip it this way, because this way, you know what, it feels heavy on that side, so I'm gonna flip it this way. And when I say heavy, I mean in a visual sense, the sense that when you're looking at it, there's a lot more on that side than there is on this side. So, you know, when it looks heavy like that, like when you're looking at this painting, instantly you think that, you know, maybe it's the wrong way because the top is visually got a lot more stuff in it. So it feels like you might want to hang it the opposite way. So this series that I'm doing you're not really supposed to feel like it's one way or another. And I do that by just painting from every different, all the 4 directions. It's not every angle because I'm not doing it sideways or anything, but it is from other directions. And I already had it hanging this way, but it's okay. We're gonna go with it. Let's see. How do we want to tackle this next section here? I really like what we did up there, but I don't want to make that the whole idea. Let's see. Decisions. That's probably one of the most challenging things about painting or artwork is depending on your style, it's the decision fatigue that gets you, right? Like, I should put red here, yellow here. Should I put red here? Should I use a complementary color, or should I go, out of the box? How should I, what would be the best color here? Let me mix this color. What kind of brush should I use here, right? So you're constantly coming up with new decisions rather than, it might seem like you're focused on one task at a time, but the whole task of painting, depending on the style, of course, again, I add that as a caveat, is you're constantly coming up with decisions. Where to place things, where to maneuver, what colors to use, what type of brush effect you want to have. So you're constantly thinking about those things. Even if I'm not planning out, obviously I'm not planning out every single bit of this, but when I take these moments and I'm starting on a new section and I'm making a decision, I look at it, and then that's in those moments, you're making decisions, you're making choices, you're taking decisive action. So here we go. All right. I think right here, still have green here. We grab this yellow again, and then we're going to mix it with our red. And then we're going to grab this red, and we're going to create this nice red. This nice orange red. We're going to put this right into here. We're going to create a bunch of lines with our red. want to use up this red to create these these things that break up the painting. You know, you can use lines to just break up a space. Just break it up. It'll take attention away. So here we go. All right. I think the hardest thing about painting like this for anybody is believing that you're allowed to. And that's going to sound silly. But I think there are a lot of artists that don't do abstract work. Not because they don't have the skill or, you know, but they haven't allowed themselves to. They haven't given themselves the freedom to say, hey, I don't need to make a realist painting. I don't need to paint like Rembrandt. I don't need to paint like Leonardo da Vinci. I don't need to paint, you know, these beautiful portraits. I can allow myself the freedom to do something that's just colorful. I think that's the only obstacle between figurative artists that are, you know, painting in classical style. They paint realism. They're really good at realism, technical stuff. But for whatever reason, they've never ventured into abstract stuff. That's really the only challenge. Is like giving yourself the permission to make abstract work. How interesting is that, though? That's a big challenge, though. And, you know, maybe there's the financial challenge too, right? Because look how much paint I'm using, right? You have to really want to do this style of work in order to do it. Because otherwise you're not going to give yourself the permission to basically use this paint. Part of the reason is I'm doing this for a show coming up, so I have motivation, but, you know, I can imagine that if I didn't have that show coming up, I probably wouldn't be doing a series, or would have taken me much longer. Like, I'd probably be doing this series over the period of like multiple months rather than just a week or 2 weeks. But you know what? I had motivation. It's good to find your motivation. Good to find your motivation. And here's the thing, though. I will say, I don't even know if I'm going to get into the show, but these paintings will be part of my submission. So I do have stuff at stake. And if I don't get in the show, I'll have these 10 amazing paintings to offer to the world in other ways. And there are so many shows in Los Angeles that, you know, unfortunately, Los Angeles is a very art-centric city, which means there's always opportunities to have somewhere to share your work. And, you know, hopefully, if you're an artist, you live in a city that will value your pieces. But I think a lot of, like, even smaller cities throughout America, at least, they have some area where they have some area within 20 miles of where anybody lives that is probably very interested in local artists. So that's the beauty of creative freedom in America. I don't know if that's the same in every country. I'm sure in almost every modern country, there's a art epicenter where just about any artist can probably pop into and try to do stuff. But fortunately, LA has a lot of that. At the same time, LA has a ton of artists. So because of that, I don't see it as competition as much as it is, competition in the sense of if you win, they lose. I don't see it so much as that, as much as it is the idea of filtering through everything and finding the people that uniquely are curious about what you do, or helping the people that could potentially want to see your work, helping them find it. That can be the hardest part, is just knowing where they are. But in LA, there's people of all range of life experiences and whatnot. So I'm gonna clean off this brush for now. I think right now is the time to kind of reset, recalibrate. So I'm gonna clean off this brush here. Clean, test it out on our towel here. Yes, nice, very nice. All right, this brush is clean. So what's going on, everybody? How's everybody's day going? I know we have had quite an interesting week with the elections and everything. If you're in the United States, honestly, I don't really know what else is going on out in the world besides what's happening with the elections. That's the biggest drama. And I was talking to somebody from Canada today, and they were telling me how even in Canada, the news of the US election is a huge deal. Like, there's a lot of people who are talking about it that are involved. And I don't want to sound too American-centric, but is the US election, is that really like the most talked about subject on the entire planet? It's hard for me to imagine that there's not, crazier things going on. But it just could be, I don't know. Somebody fill me in. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this yellow here. I'm just going to go around in this section. We're just going to fill in this yellow. Let's just fill in the yellow here. In this section, I'm just going to fill it in with a bunch of color. I'm going to use really thick color to lay down into here. I'm not going to brush it. I'm just going to, I'm brushing it, but I'm not going to brush it all neatly. I'm just going to lay down a thick zone of color right into this section right here. And the colors are just going to mix in. It's going to create like a dimensional effect. That's what we're going for in this section right now. Bam. Grab some of this paint off. Let's actually do black for this one, or gray. Do black right into here. And here we go. I like where this is at. So let's keep this. Let's see if there's a way to intersect some of these sections here. Intersect. So this is going to be black. I'm going to paint some of this black in. One good thing I think about these paintings that I'm doing right now is, although I'm trying to get them prepared for a show, they're fresh. I feel like this is definitely a painting style that over the course of, I don't know, however many days, years, months, whatever it takes to finally find buyers or whatever, that I can constantly paint over these and make it look different. I can totally paint over these over the course of however long they're going to be in existence, and I can just paint it over and over, get a different effect. And that's what I find very beautiful about these is, you know, no matter what happens, there could be a lot of changes. It's going to be very exciting. I don't have to just let it stay as it is. You know what I want to do? Let's see, what are we going to do? I don't know. Should I leave that section? Part of me wants to scrape it with our palette knife. So let's scrape it with our palette knife. Let's go. Wow. 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 You gotta make sounds while you're painting. Otherwise, you're not really painting. Hey, babe.
Hey?
Yeah. I am here painting right now.
Oh.
You okay?
Yeah, it's starting to get in with all this.
Close the door.
No,
Where'd Scout go?
it's right there.
Oh.
I was gonna do it. But
Huh?
after I put my stuff down, I was gonna.
I don't know, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. Alright.
You don't have to.
Thank you. I'm gonna lay down. So.
Oh,
On what?
one of the cats puked on the top sheet, and I think it soaked through to the bottom sheet. But I'm gonna let you be the judge of that.
Okay.
But I put the top sheet into the thing.
Alright. Fun. Fun. How was everything?
Good. We are playing now, people. Let's play. Who's cute? I'm cute? Oh. Yeah, it was on your side, like, closer to the center. Top, like, near your chest area on your side of the bed if you were sleeping on it. The thing about using palette knife work is you get a really nice layer of paint. It's really beautiful, nice layers of paint onto your canvas. Wonderful, wonderful layers of paint. All right, and let's see what we're gonna do now. We're gonna take our ultramarine blue. And I want to do something that goes across. Let's do something that cuts across our painting here. So start right up here. It's gonna make it look like a footprint. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it yet.
What time's your call time?
2:30.
Mine's an hour later or an hour earlier?
I'm pretty sure yours is 3:30.
Cookies, go.
And let's see, we're gonna go. Let's find a way to spread this paint right here. We're gonna go boom, and we're gonna go womp, and we're gonna go womp, and we're gonna go womp, we're gonna go womp. I want to do an entire painting like this just with a palette knife. That would be fun. I'm gonna do that next. That'll be our next one. Palette knife work is fun. It just creates these really interesting textures that, you know, you see it. You've seen it before, but not many artists are focused on it because, you know, of course, the brush is our king, right? The brush is the ultimate painting tool. But the artists who are creating with a palette knife, they have the opportunity to really create some interesting works. You know what? I don't think I'm the first one. I know I'm not the first one. But I'm probably the only one at this very moment on all of YouTube streaming that's doing work like this at this very moment. There's probably at least 5 other streamers that are doing portraits, which is great. And they probably have more viewers than me because people love to see people doing realistic portraits. But that is what we have going on here. That you get to be a part of something very unique, one of a kind. One of a kind. Nothing like this specific piece has ever been made before. Maybe something similar to it, but this piece is the first of its kind in history. Because. So here we go. What should we do next? I like where this is at. And I feel like I just need more areas of just this color contrast. So I got white, blue, black. So white, black, blue. If I was to go blue, got a lot of orange already. Got this like big blob up here that's like a green. I think what needs to happen is I need to balance out this section. If I could balance out whatever's in this area right here, I can start to work along the edges, and then we'll eventually have to finish painting. But I'm just trying to think what would go good right in here. So I've got these blues. Got this black and the red right here. Is yellow our solution? Is yellow really going to be our solution? Let's find out. We're going to throw some yellow in here. Yellow's a wonderful color because yellow makes everything just pop. So we're going to pull out the rest of our yellow from our Van Gogh Azo yellow light. Use the rest of this tube. We're about to use, it's a 20 milliliter tube we got here. So I'm about to use 10 milliliters. This painting has used so much paint. I probably used about over 50 milliliters of paint so far. maybe even 50 milliliters. Yeah, I would say at least 50 milliliters, maybe almost 100, somewhere between 50 and 100 milliliters just on this painting. This is not a painting style that you could be timid with your paint with. Yeah. But that brings me to this idea, like, anybody can do it, right? Anybody can do this. But as far as who is going to spend the time and the money and the resources to create this, right? And I'm talking about this for my own painting, but this is for any artist. This message for any artist of what I'm saying is like any artist who wants to do abstract work. And you have that thought in your head, well, if anybody can do it, why should I? Maybe it's not worth it. I can't, I need 5 years of art school, 4 years plus a master's in order to make, beautiful artwork. And my theory there is just because anybody can do it doesn't mean anybody will. In fact, most people probably won't, because just simply having that idea in your head will prevent you from doing it. Knowing that, a 10-year-old can copy your work. I'm very much pro abstract art, by the way, if you can't tell already. And in order for me to reach the point of doing abstract work, I had to overcome a lot. Not like, I don't mean overcome a lot as in personal struggles and deep soul searching or anything like that, but just recognizing my own mental barriers of what I considered good art, what my personal opinions are, my views, and just questioning why do I feel this way about this art versus other art. And I'm just sharing with y'all some of the things that helped me overcome these doubts about abstract work. Self-doubts. And self-doubt might not be obvious. It might not be. And not every artist needs to do abstract work. But I'm saying for those of you that somewhere deep down, you just want to pick up a canvas and you just want to throw paint on it, right? For those of you, but then you're just like, that's childish. Anybody can do that. I'm not going to come up with anything meaningful, whatever. Free yourself. Let yourself go. Allow yourself the permission to do those things. Allow yourself the permission to do something that a child might do, painting-wise, artwork, right? As Picasso always said, it took him 5 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to learn to paint like a child or like a kid or something like that. I can't remember the exact age group that he references, but you get the idea, right? What is this? I like this scratchy look, but I also don't like it. I'm having a hard time deciding whether I like the scratchy look or not. It creates a messy texture. It adds variety of expression, but I'm not quite convinced whether I truly like it or not. It does help to create this textured effect. So I have these neighbors, and they're sitting at they have a really successful YouTube channel. They get millions of views on their videos. Comedy channel, and they make these videos, and a lot of the time they're just like yelling. At least when they film around me. Not a lot of the time, but like, you know, a quarter of the time, maybe half the time, they're just like yelling. And I'm sure they're yelling for a purpose, for story reasons, for, you know, for the story. I get it. They're a comedy channel. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. I get it. And I'm like, yo, those guys, they're good. You know, they're probably, you know, my age, and they're making these like ridiculous videos and having fun doing it, and that's awesome. Good for them. It's wonderful. Create content that makes people laugh. It's great. All right, so I'm not liking how this is looking. So we're gonna do this scraperoo, and we're gonna get this. I'm just gonna go for this effect here. This like this dragged effect. Let's go sideways. Let's go to the side. I'm gonna go to the side here. Go to the side from this side. I think that creates something cool, right? We got something nice there. There we go. Here we go. Right across down. Get some checked look. Bam, bam. And this will give us some more color to fill the rest of the canvas. Right here, right there. Right here. Let's see, right there. I want to avoid the trap of, you know, blending too much together. I think I might have done that here, but you know, maybe that little bit of blue that's peeking through is the yellow is just enough. It's good enough. So I don't want to do too much more there, but I'm gonna go into here, right into here. Okay, let's lay this down, and I think I'm gonna have to retire this because I'm not liking the effects of it. Unless I was doing the whole thing like this. You know what? Let's see what we can do. How can we beautify this with our... It's gotta be something. I think it's time for an old flipperoo. Let's see. All right. Give it a 360 flip here, or a 90-degree flip, I guess you should say. I was bad in math. So stay in school, people. If you don't want to be stuck doing painting videos on YouTube, stay in school and get good at math. Totally kidding there. Let's see. All right. Where's this going? What shall we do from here? You know what I need? I need a bunch of bright colors to surround this area back here. We'll take our white. Just want to go into here. Go into this area here. And just brush it in. Let's give our left hand some action here. Let's allow our left hand to make some brush strokes here. Otherwise, you know, your left hand just gets anxious. It loses, you add a layer of dimension or creativity. Your left hand, or your non-dominant hand, I should say, has a mind of its own. It wants to express itself in some way. Why not let it? Why not allow it to say something? Why not allow it to express something, even if it's kind of goofy, right? It's that your super smooth friend that knows all the things, the right things to say at the right times, versus that goofy friend who, you know, adds comedy to a situation. And although you might feel embarrassed by some of the things he says, he's always there to back you up when you need it, you know. That's your left hand right there. Always there to have your back when you need. Always there to have the back of your right hand when you need it. When you need it most. Oh, y'all can't see what I'm doing. Somebody say something. There we go. I think I should push this back a little bit. See what I'm doing. Grab some more of this white here. You know what? I might just go around the entire edge here and just go with white and just see how it creates like this cloudy look, and just see what happens. And then, you know what? Yellow and white. We're gonna go yellow and white. Let's grab some more white. Yellow and white around the edges. We're gonna see what we come up with. This side I'm gonna go yellow, just because. It's going to end up green because there's so much blue here. Oh, this side needs to be painted as well. Can't forget that, right? Kat, what do we say about having fun in this apartment? Oh no, I colored over some of the painted over. Adults say painted, kids say colored. I colored over this area. So here we go. Go down in here. And I want to get the top of this. So who's going to let themselves have fun after seeing this live stream? Raise your hand. I can't see it, but just spiritually, mentally raise your hand and I'll know if you did it or not. And here we go. We're going to go. Oh, no. Oh, that's not bad. Grab some more of this yellow. This yellow is doing great. I like where this is. Yellow is doing fantastic here. And as that transitions, let's go with this white up here. Go with the white into this section here. You know what? I'm going to call this the fog. I think I got my name for this, the fog. What a great name, right? I have found my name for this. It's called the fog. Love this brush. Yeah, so definitely these pieces, it's just a totally allowing ideas to evolve, to transform, to become something different than what you had originally planned, which was, I guess if you didn't have anything planned, then there's no such thing as your original plan. But, you know, as I'm going through this, I definitely have ideas of, you know, what it might look like or what parts of it I really like that I want to keep. And over time, you know, that changes as well. So being comfortable with change and transformation and all these things, these esoteric concepts. Let's grab some white again. I'm going to go right into here. And then we're going to grab our last bit of yellow right here, and we're going to mold it up into this. Let's go boom, boom, boom. Ready for that. Bring this up to the top right here. Let's add some of this around the edge here. Let's straighten some of these lines to make them a bit hazy. Give it this cloudiness. I give it a cloudiness, more of a cloudiness rather than you know what we're going to do right now? We're going to take our globs of blue and red and just go around. Actually, how should we do this? I'm just going to add symbols all around this. Just add symbols. Power of symbols. Now we're gonna grab this. Grab right here. Boom, boom. We grab this dark blue, this navy blue, and also go into here, into these spaces, and we'll just go. Symbols of symbolism. There's no real symbols, these are just markings. But we could call it symbolism. We could call the markings a symbol of life. A symbol that I was here. I was here to leave these marks. Very existential, right? Feeling the necessity to leave a part of yourself. And there we have it. All right. So I think we're done. You know what I said I wanted to do earlier that I didn't say it out loud. Actually, I thought it in my head briefly. But what I want to do is I want to leave a lot more small marks. I want to leave some smaller markings onto here. I want to leave smaller marks. How many times do I have to say that? I want to leave smaller marks. All right, let me wipe this paint off. Okay, we're gonna clean off some of these bigger paint brushes. Let's just clean off all the brushes. Actually, I'm gonna just go for a smaller brush now. We're gonna go for that big, medium, small effect. One brush down. This brush is clean. Okay. Next brush. This brush is already pretty ratchety. It's really stiff. So we're just gonna rinse it off a little bit. Rinse it off. It's already pretty ratchety. Probably shouldn't even have it in the same pile as all my good brushes. This is like a brush that I might use just to get a certain texture, but it's really of no use to me right now. This brush I already cleaned it. Just want to make sure because this is a nice brush. This is actually a really good brush. So I really want to maintain that quality of this. So I want to make sure that I wipe it nicely. This brush is a really rough brush. I like it, but you know, it doesn't really need to be cleaned too well. I just really want to get the paint off. Just so it doesn't get too stiff when I do need it again. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 5:06 p.m.
5:06 p.m. Hey, Kat, we should get going soon. So, here we go. Just in time. So I'm gonna do just a couple other things now, but we're pretty much almost done. Probably finish within the next 10 minutes or so. For those of you here that are just wondering how much longer I'm gonna be here, not that much longer. What'd you say, Kat? Yes. I fed them like 3 hours ago. Is there no food in their bowl? Oh. Well, they must have eaten it then. This brush is so old. So used. All right, now I'm actually going to use this brush. So this actually was at one point a very, very nice brush. It was like a filbert, which means it was much tighter together and it was like rounded at the top, but it's no longer like that because I have used it very roughly, but it'll be perfect for something like this that allows me to just mess around. So let me take the colors I've already got, and I don't want to do too much more. I will, but I will do a little bit
Right
more,
now,
but not too
it's
much.
67 degrees Fahrenheit.
So let's go right
Tonight,
here.
expect a low of 51 degrees.
We're going to go just add some stripes right here. Just add some stripes all the way down this blue right now. So why not? And then let's add some markings across the top here. Add some nice markings just to create a nice extra layer of dimension here, you know? Add some dimension. Dimension. And then, let me see, maybe green will show up really nicely on some areas. Go ahead, little square there, a couple squares and shapes. Let's bring some of this into our right here. Add some extra shape variety. Now grab our blue, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna use this blue. Let's go. Bam, bam, bam. Take this green, and we're gonna go add layers of green right here. Add an extra dimension of some green right here. Some green right across. Tighten these colors up, add more paint. Always have extra paint.
In the bathroom.
Okay.
Fucker. Sorry.
Cat, stop talking like me. No, I really want to. It's too much paint here. I don't want it to be that coming off the surface compared to everything else. I'm gonna go. Where would green be a good contrast? So green and orange. So where do I have like a yellow? Actually, you know what? On top of this purple might be good. Let's add some of this paint. And here we go. That was my version of beatboxing. Just a couple fart noises from the mouth and tongue clicks. That's about as much as I do. There are a couple X's. People like X's. X's are very provocative. X's here. We're like, what's an X mean? Wow, he put X's. That must mean something. That's provocative. Here we go. Here's the funny thing. So I say that jokingly, right? I'm like somewhat sarcastic about it, but you know, the truth is, it is. Even if I might not have a specific provocative meaning for it, it is what it is. Let me see if there's any more red left. Yes, there's some red. I could pick up some of this red. And where would this red go nicely? We're going to go... I'm adding shape. I'm creating an outline for this shape right here. What does that do? It just helps to craft just the form of this painting, helps to separate some objects. Let's see. We'll use the same color here, right here. Let's see this color. Grab white. Need some white. Let's do white into here. take this white and let's add some highlights to these areas around the side here. Just to add some extra details. Extra details, just to keep your eye moving around, you know, just this visual salad, this visual shaken salad. A shaken visual salad is what I call it. Let's grab some white. We can mix this white in with our green and yellow to lighten up our white or change the shade of it a little bit. Needs to be thicker, not enough paint. There we go. Let's actually thicken this and give an outline to this piece right here. You know what? I'm going to take our black. I'm going to take our black. And we're going to go. No, Pookie. We go around here. So hard to keep our kittens away. What's wrong? What's wrong, Pookie? What noises does everybody make to keep their cats away from things that they don't want them to get into? That's mine. Alright, do I feel complete now? Almost. Something. I think I'm done. That's it. We're finished, people. This is it. This is it. Almost. I gotta get rid of whatever's paint is on here. Just gotta find a good place for it. Let's go.
What were you making noises at?
Pookie.
What was she doing? She hanging it out?
No, she was on my paint, like coming up on my painting and stuff.
Oh no.
Huh? All right, so let's clean our brush here and add a signature, and we are done for the evening, everybody. Very exciting. I invited her, yeah. I think I did. Huh? So what I learned about signing things like this is you really gotta carve out a space. You can't just you can't just like paint it on top of a wet area. You have to like carve your name onto a dry space. And we're gonna take this red here that we've got. Essentially, you have to like scrape away the paint. Oh, nope, that color's not gonna work. Actually, I think what I should have said is this brush isn't gonna work. I need to find a brush that'll like scrape away this space here. Just a nice rough brush. Let's see if we can scrape away some space. I'm testing out a new way of signing. Because one thing I always have a problem with is keeping the paint, especially on wet paint, it makes it very difficult. What are you staring at me like that for, huh? My cat's just staring at me for some reason. Huh? Scout is. He's just staring at me with his cute little face. Ah! Boop. Alright, so let's grab this red again and let's try. Let's give it another shot, another go. Oh yeah, it's working. That idea is working. So, a little signature here. Actually, it's not working, but we will figure it out. E.F.E.R. G U S There we go. Right at the bottom. Let's do this. Exciting, people. All right. Ooh. Getting distracted here. I'm seeing like I can add these little tiny strokes of color. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. That's enough. Okay, so let's wrap this all up, people. So we taking separate cars or what? I don't think I'm gonna stay that late. Okay. That is a lot of paint right there. just noticed that there's a couple huge globs that I don't really like. So I'm gonna pull them off. I'm gonna pull off this glob right here. We're gonna put it on our special canvas used just for excess paint. And then there's another. These globs are okay, but just that one random thick glob just wasn't working. I think there's been an ambulance on every single one of my streams. All right, and there we have it, everybody. Good night. We're going to be wrapping this up. Oh yeah, this is good. Put that right there, and have a good evening. Take care. Wish you all the best.